So, hello everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Today we're going to discuss about style, context, and register. But before that, we'd like to introduce ourselves. My name is Dia as the leader for today's discussion.
My name is Enrico as an inspector.
My name is Tere as a connector.
And my name is Istaula Zara, and I'm as a word wizard.
Okay, thank you. So before we begin our discussion, I'd like to share the screen first. Wait, I think this one. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay. How about now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, can see it.
All right. Let's find the. Okay, so today's discussion, our big topic is about, as what Miss Ruli said before in the main room, we're going to talk about style, context, and register. And I know the journal is really, really hard to be understood, right? Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
what happened? Wait. So my laptop is quiet. Suka blank-blank gitu ya guys, maaf. Wait. What is happening? Actually, this is what happened if I open too much page in the Google Chrome. So it's like blanking. I don't know. Okay.
Okay.
Wait. Mhm. I'm sorry, guys, for. So how did you feel after reading the journal? Are you feeling free or sad or scared?
Quite scared because of the long read
Yeah,
materials.
yeah. I felt useless. I read the article, but I don't understand all of the context. I don't know.
Yeah, there are also a lot of example. Like
Yeah. Actually, the example is quite make us like bingung, you know.
hmm,
I hate this laptop. I'm gonna buy a new one, but I don't have money. Wait. Okay. So let's answer the first question from me. So what are the main points in the text? So as I said before, our main topic is about context, style, and register. So it's what is that called? Related to the addressee as an influence on style. And then we're going on, and we're also talking about um, age of addressee, how the age of addressee may affect speakers' language style, and then we're going to talk about the social backgrounds of addressee. Convergence and divergence of speech are useful for distinguishing which one is speech accommodation and not. We're also talking about how did I read it? Colloquial and vernacular. So actually, I don't really understand with this part. Maybe the inspector or maybe the other roles can explain it to me. And then we're also going to talk about formal context and social role. So as we know that a person's social role is determined by his or her positions, like Mr. Lee examples in the main room, her position or status in the society, and he or she is expected to follow an expected set of the behavior. So the speech style is will be influenced by the social role. We're going to talk about also about social class and style. People from a higher social class will use less vernacular terms and more standardized pronunciation formed in a formal context. So like that. That is the main point actually that I got from the journal. And then the second one is what will we discuss in the group? So it's not really far from the first questions. We're going to talk about how language is used, where, to whom, and what is the context. The importance of addresses in the context of choose the language or the variety. We're going to talk about also about the stylish features, the interaction between the formality and status dimension, how distinctive styles of registers may be shaped by functional demands of particular situations, speech convergence and also divergence, the choice of an appropriate language from depends on the context, whether it is formal or informal, and also of course the social roles. So stylization, the interaction of social class and style in non-Western societies, and of course the three critical questions from the inspector. So how do you motivate your friends to be ready for the discussion? I think so far this is what I did during the group discussion. Yeah, always monitoring and asking them through WhatsApp group about the progress of their reading, giving a brief explanation, and then encouraging them to get involved in discussion by asking some questions and also opinions, reminding them to fill the journal before Monday, like what I did to you guys before Monday to ensure everything is ready to be presented, motivating them by saying you'll do well, good luck, we can do this, jangan patah semangat, like that. And then ensure them to have a well understanding about the material. And the last one is reminding them if there's something wrong with the works. So I think that is from um, a brief explanation about what are we going to do for today's discussion. So let's move to the second roles, which is the inspector. So Rico, you may please deliver what apa yang kamu tahu from the journal. The time is
Oh,
yours.
okay. So the first question is about what key issues are present in the text and why are they essential? So I got three big key issues from the text. So the first the first key issues is age of addressee, social background of addressee, and who the addressee is can influence the choice of language, be it code, dialect, or style. So from the text, age, gender, social roles, different addresses are several factors that affect the language used. And then this one is essential, especially for student or teacher. So why is it essential? So as it explained that language is based on its use, whether it's used to someone else, to whom, or according to who is using it. So first is about age of addressee. So people would speak a different style of language, whether it's children or adults or parents or older people, and speak according to their manner of style of speaking. So this is essential in the speaker's social background, whether social dimension or social levels affects a person's choice of language. It can be style or pronunciation. And then with the explanation about factors that can affect the use of language, this is especially essential for students. Why? It is because it students to be is because for students they are be able to determine the language they use, where and to whom they speak. So it's about the first one is this is the one of the key issues from the text, and then the second key issues is convergence and divergence of speech are useful for distinguishing which one is speech accommodation and not. So this one is also essential because there's a difference between convergence and divergence. It depends on which people, how we talking to other people with our comfort zone. So it helps people to understand certain situation in which people are comfortable talking to addressee and who don't intend to accommodate to their speech. So in speech convergence, people may accommodate others by choosing code or variety or language that is comfortable for the addressee. So they are in the same wave in when they are talking. But it's different in speech divergence. So in speech divergence, the speaker uh, deviates from the speech style from the addressee and even the language of the addressee because they don't have comfort, not the same wave in talking to each other, or they want to differentiate or distinguish themselves. So that's the second cases, and then the third cases is about the choice of an appropriate language form depends on the context, whether formal or informal, and social roles. So formal situation and informal situation and also social roles, uh, it's an important key in this how to choose the appropriate form of language. So in the choice of appropriate form of language, personal relationships between speakers uh, is important, but this is not the only one important key, but also by the formality of the context and their role or their status within that situation. And then, of course, this is essential, especially for students and teachers. Why? Because in real life, in a school setting, the relationship between children and parents who are at home as a family will change the situation to be formal when they meet at school as teachers and students. And then the roles and language usage will change according to the setting. Okay, that's about the key issues from the text. And then the second question, how does the examples in the text help explain the issues? So there's so many examples uh, in the text. So I think it's very helpful in explaining the problems and topics being discussed. But at the same time, it's really confusing because there are so many examples, and we must identify its examples. But with so many examples, at least two examples for one topic, I think make the material easy to understand because the examples given are linked to what happens in everyday life. So example of how we usually use language depending on to whom we are talking and also the place and situation are examples that can explain the problems being discussed because they are related to situations that occur in real life. So it's help to explain the issues. And then there are three critical questions that we will discuss in this discussion. So the first question. So as we know, speech convergence occurs when we use the same pronunciation, right? Same pronunciation and the same vocabulary to with the addressee, and it shows us one wave with the addressee. So the question is, Does to whom we are talking influences or determines speech convergence, especially if there is different social status. So, do you get it? This question, guys? So, like when we are talking to, especially if their social status, we are talking, especially for example, we are talking to teachers, and then we use the same pronunciation and the same vocabulary with the teacher. Then I think it is a speed convergence or what? Because speech convergence is we have the same pronunciation and the same vocabulary with whom with the person we are talking to. What do you think, guys? Have you an have you an idea this question?
So the teachers and the students, when they are talking, they have the same pronunciation and the same, what is that, vocabulary. Is that a speech convergence? Mm, wait. Speech convergence means that they have the same, like the same aliran, you know.
Yeah, aliran the wave.
I think yes, because the setting in the school, probably they will talk about school stuff.
Yeah, and
Yes. And also they will talk in a formal way because their roles is as the students and also the teachers. But I think it will be different if they are outside the school. Maybe they will use the informal context, the formal way.
yeah, and
That's my opinion.
do you think it's uh the way we talk to teacher with the same pronunciation and the same vocabulary is a polite way or impolite?
Polite or impolite? Mm, what do you think, guys?
What do you think, guys?
Yeah, if they use the same.
But formal language tend to polite, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, sometimes.
Hmm.
But I think kembali lagi with the teachers and students, maybe they already have a like hubungan yang sangat erat and then like akrab, they tend to use like casual language when to talk each other because in my experience, I have a teacher in my school, in my junior high school. I used aku deket banget sama dia gitu, and then we talk like casually, and then we are joking each other even at school. So I think it depends on the relationship between the teachers and also the students. Also, don't you think, guys?
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think so.
So we move to the next question, right?
Okay.
Okay. So the second question: if the choice of language styles is determined by whom we are talking to, can gender differences affect a person's language style or their choice of language style? What do you think, guys? So we person language style actually uh, determined by the social status and the whom they are talking to. And how about genders? When someone talking with different genders, it's affect does it affect their language style?
Yes.
So actually, in
Uh,
my opinion, I think
I think
it's yeah, yeah, Tata.
I think a gender can affect a language style. It can affect our how we speak. In my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I think the gender it actually affect a person language style. For example, when I talk to girls, I think I choose the appropriate language style uh, that it's polite, and I think it's uh, in the comfort zone. Like the comfort zone.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So I
with
think, yeah.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
yes, yeah,
So I think, yeah, I agree with Tata also. So gender can affect personal language and style because I had experience when I met someone's new, especially boy. I tend to be talk more like uh, I want to look girly and then uh, malu-malu because yeah, you know that's what I feel when I met a boy. But it is different with a girl when I can talk more casually and then lebih bebas like that because we have the same gender and I assume that we have the same perception like that. But it will be different with a boy, like yeah, malu-malu, and then
Yeah,
I use more polite language and then halus, lembut, because I want to show them that I am a girl. That's girl how should act like that sometimes.
yeah.
yeah,
I think women are more likely to use language in the context of emotional relationship. Like yeah, like that. Is it?
yeah. Yeah, I agree with it. So, yeah, the answer is gender affects a person's language styles and their choice of language styles. Okay, the third question. How do you use the style depending on formal or informal situation and social class?
Uh, I think if we talk to like a teacher or a lecturer, a higher social class, we tend to use a more formal than when we are speak to our friends, we use our informal speech.
Yeah,
Uh,
I okay.
Yes,
Go
dear.
on. Oh, Tata udah. So yeah, I agree with Tata that before deciding formal and informal, we have to know the setting of the interaction or the conversation, right? For example, that if the setting is in the school, we have to determine that it is the relationship between the teachers and also the school staff. So we have to be formal and polite in talking. But it is different when we talk with in a family or in friends. We tend to use like a casual style of language, and it is informal. So the setting is the most is the essential element when we want to deciding the formal or informal situations. I think like that.
Yes. Thank you, dear. Thank you, Tata. So we know the answer, right? Okay. So we have discussed these three critical questions, and I think that's all from me, and we can move to the
okay.
close. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, and inspector. Let's
Oh,
move to the third rules, which is word wizard.
So this is, we can move on to our first question, and that is what 5 definition of terms do you find from the text? These are my 5 terms that I find in the text. The first one is convergence. The second one is deliberately, and the third assent, and the fourth is addressee, and the fifth is divergence. So we can move on to number 2. What are their definition in their text, and how do you define them in your text? For this question, I may have not complete to put the original text in the answer. I still search for the text, and these are my own words of the definitions. And the first one is convergence. Convergence is an act of adjusting the speech pattern to match other groups or other social identities while expressing unity. And the second one, deliberately, and I still try to think how can I apply it with my own words. And the third one is assent. It's how someone speaks in another language. And the third one and the fourth one is addressee. Addressee is someone who accept the opponent who we talk to. And the last one is divergence. It's an act of distinguishing a speech pattern in order to draw the line, the obvious reason. And this is, let's move on to number 3 questions. How are they used in other contexts? So in convergence, there is a process that are stating converging, and deliberately is consciously and intentionally they're on purpose. And accent is distinctive pronunciations of a language, especially one associated with a particular nation or locality or social class. An addressee is a person who receives that is usually a letter. And divergence is the process of or stage of diverging. Yeah, I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, word wizard, for the brief explanation. So let's move to the last roles, which is connector.
Okay. Okay, I will start. So here I have essay that are relevant with the context. So this essay talks about addresses, influence on speech style. The essay age of addressee, social status, rule of addressee, and etc. So it explained that in trying to communicate, it is important that the addressee gets and understand the information as intended and determines the addressee suitability to a certain speech style. So I got example that are relevant, such as in the social status and role of the address. It explained that uh, depending on the social classes, children are also addressed differently. So this is because the ability of a child to comprehend certain statement and words like depend on their asuhan, like that. So some words are common in certain social classes, but not in other social classes. A child from a slum may not understand vocabulary or certain formal devices like PlayStation or even a computer, unlike a child from a wealthy, like a rich family. So, therefore, when addressing children from these two different social classes, words and terms used must be carefully chosen to fit their understanding. And let's move to the next question. So here I have a video and also mind map. So it may help our group to gain better understanding about the material. You can watch, or maybe you have watched. And here the picture. I think it's quite hard to see the mind map. Maybe dear, could you please open the link so we can see the mind map
Okay, wait.
under the picture?
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Ini harus di copy ya?
Enggak.
Diklik aja. Wait. My laptop is going crazy. I hate you.
Oh, maybe should I
Wait.
just explain quickly, or maybe just
Yeah,
like
you
look
may
for
yeah. You may explain while I'm trying to open this file.
okay. So from the mind map, we can see that the style, context, and register. So wait, could you
Wait.
scan?
You may start playing. Or do you need the diagram to help you to
Yeah, I
explain?
think, but
Okay, wait. I'm so sorry, my laptop is
it's okay.
this is taking longer than expected.
Or
Or maybe you can tell the main point of the
okay,
diagram.
okay. As
Oh,
we
this
know
one.
okay, yeah. So we can see here the style, context, and register. Maybe it's quite confusing. The arrow it's not like clearly, but we can see the points of each like for style, context, and register. Here from the register,
Which one?
this spell,
Register.
yeah, special,
Oh, this one.
yeah, yeah. So here we can see the register is language of groups of people with common interests of or jobs,
Mm-hmm.
and a stylist performance may involve feature vocabulary, grammatical structure, pronunciation, or a particular variety, as
Okay.
we have discussed previously. Yeah, I think to gain more understanding, you can later uh, open this Google again, the main map.
Oh, this is
I think,
helpful. Thank
yeah,
you.
I think
It is
like,
bad. Yeah, I know.
yeah,
It is easy to understand by reading the
mm,
diagram rather than the journal.
yeah, we
Okay.
can understand easily about the material.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Back to the question number 3.
yeah,
What was the question? Um.
true image.
Okay.
So actually, I think it's quite the same, the question. So how can I help my friends to understand the text better through image? So I will use the same image because I think it helps our group to gain better understanding about the material. So through the videos and the image above, it's important for us to learn and get a well understanding about the topic. So their style of a dress as an influence on style. There are also context and register. It explains that people's speech reflects not only aspect of their identity, such as their ethnicity, age, gender, and social background, but it is also reflects the context in which they are using the language. So style, context, and register, they are continuity. It means concert with language user and to whom that language user use language. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, connector. So, do you still have any questions, guys? Or do you still confused with some topics? I think there's still time that we can discuss some things or some problems. Oh yeah, Tata, don't forget to fill this. I'm afraid that you forgot this one term. Okay. Oh my God, should be March, not Maret. Is there any questions? Maybe I'll stop sharing, then we can talk.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Apakah sudah stop sharing screen? Do you hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. So, is there any confusion from our discussion?
Nothing.
So, no.
I just confused about others topic in the text.
Pardon?
Just confused with the some topics in the text, not so much.
Oh, oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Quite
yeah.
difficult to understand.
Yeah. The terms is quite hard to be understood. Hmm.
Yeah, I found diglossia. What is it? Do
What is it,
you
Tere?
find the terms like diglossia? Diglossia, I don't know how to read.
Yeah, I found it, but
So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I tried to find the meaning. So diglossia is two distinct varieties of the same language used in the community, with one regarded as high variety and low variety, like that.
Oh.
And also code switching, maybe
Code?
when it's based on the switching. So it's
Code.
like
Mhm.
it's based on the situational, or so it's based on where we happen to be, or where to who we are talking to.
Oh.
Like it's based on the situation, topic, and social reason. Maybe like
It probably like when you talk to like two people with a different maybe social background. One is from maybe one is your friend and one is your boss maybe, and you'll talk
yeah,
differently. So you'll talk casually with your friend, but you'll talk formally with your boss. Is
yeah.
that it? Okay.
I think I think like that. Like in a class when a teacher switches from English to Indonesian to make sure the student understand
Okay.
what the teacher said. Maybe like
Mhm. I still confused about colloquial
Colloquial style.
style and the fair. Oh my god, this is so hard. Vernacular. Do you guys understand with that?
I think uh, colloquial and vernacular style. It's the same. Uh, I think it's the same with colloquial style. You know, in Indonesia, colloquial style it means bahasa sehari-hari.
Oh, okay. Is that like bahasa ibu, the first language?
Yeah, language
Okay.
like we use that we use more the language that more comfortable with us and
Okay.
easy and it is informal.
It is informal. It is always informal.
Uh, I think
yeah,
yeah
that's my question too.
because it's colloquial bahasa
Okay.
sehari-hari everywhere we
Okay.
use
Okay.
it.
Okay. All right.
Do you know what it is? Hypercorrection. I'm still confused with that.
Hypercorrection.
Especially when I'll ask question in the
Yeah,
group.
yeah. I'll ask this
Yes.
question yesterday.
Yeah.
Hypercorrection. Kebenaran yang dilebih-lebihkan. Is that it? Oh, if I'm not mistaken, hypercorrection is when people use grammatical or pronunciation, and they assume that those terms or those grammatical things and also pronunciation is right, but cuma dia yang bilang benar gitu. But in maybe in other context, it's not like that. It's not right. I think like that,
Yeah, okay.
if I'm not mistaken. Hyper collection. And then in the end of the journal, I think there are a lot of like, examples. Ya, examples like apa sih banyak banget tuh yang bawah-bawah gitu tuh.
Yeah.
How much time that left?
More
Belum.
5 more minutes.
Okay, 5 more minutes. All right. So I think, can I stop recording now?
Yes, I think we can end this.
Okay, I think that's the end of our discussion for today from Group B. Thank you for the insightful discussion. So I know I know new things from you guys. So I will stop the discussion now. Should I stop?